Pokemon Day happened. It happened yesterday from when I'm recording this. I'm recording this on February 28th. Really, the only thing that really interested me was Pokemon Legends Z-A that came out of that. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. It's Z-A. I don't know if it's pronounced Z-A. In my head, I've been calling it Pokemon Legends Z-2A. I'll be honest, the trailer I think was not good. Like, they didn't really show anything. They could have just announced like the logo and explained in an article what it was about, and I think it would have like had the same effect. But pretty much the trailer is kind of showing a holographic view of Lumio City, which this game is taking place in. But something that I found very interesting about this is, at least from the tweets I saw from Pokemon, they specifically say Pokemon Legends Z-A entirely takes place within Lumio City. Entirely. I don't think, has a Pokemon game done that in the past where like they entirely take place within one city? So that's something that's very interesting to me because I prefer JRPGs that do that. A JRPG I mentioned a couple of episodes ago, or last episode, was East 9. East 9 completely takes place within one city. Everything you do is in one city. Sometimes you step out here and there to do a couple of things or quests, but like for the most part, you are getting really intimate with that one city. Yakuza does this pretty often too, where you're usually in one location. Sometimes you go into another city here and there, but like usually you're in that one place. So Pokemon taking a stab at it is very interesting to me. And more than that, I'm very interested how they're continuing the Pokemon Legends series. I guess Arceus did very good. Arceus was a game that I was interested in, but I never really got it because I'm just not a fan how Nintendo games are like always very expensive. Like if Arceus ever dropped to like $30 or something, I would probably get it, but like I'm not paying $80 for it personally. I'm assuming that the Arceus mechanics are going to be the mechanics that drive this game, so there's not going to be turn-based combat. You're going to be fighting Pokemon in real time and things like that. So I'm very interested to see where this game goes. Again, the trailer really doesn't show shit. It just shows the city kind of being built through a hologram. The Z-A look interesting, like the logo. I don't know if this is, I haven't seen any discussion about the game, but like it looks like kind of like that green legendary Pokemon. I think it was called like Zygor or something like that. Yeah, it's very cool, especially because they're bringing back an old city. So like I'm sure it'll be connected somehow with X and Y. And one of the most exciting things I want to mention, I think a lot of people were talking about this, is that it's coming out next year. I think that's pretty important because I think a lot of people, when Pokemon Scarlet and Violet came out, did not like that it was very, very half-baked. Some would even call it quarter-baked, where like, I thought the game was fantastic, personally, in terms of what they were trying to do with the game. Execution, it was not the best. It clearly had some, I don't know, memory leak issues, because the more I would play the game, the more the frames would drop, and at a certain point it would just crash. Optimization was just thrown out the window for this game, and like I get why people hate it. I'm kind of miffed that a lot of people just kind of write off the game completely, even though I think it is a good game. They're going in the right direction for what Pokemon should be, and so I'm very happy to see them experimenting more with the different type of Pokemon, where Legends was very interesting. I do think it's interesting that they're going back to Legends and expanding it more with another game, especially if they're gonna completely play it in one city. I want to see how expansive they can get with that city. Pokemon towns, I think, are like easily the weakest point of the games. Like when you think of like, I think it was Sword and Shield, where they literally had a town where you walk into it, you can walk to the right for 7 seconds and you're at the end of the town. That was like the entire town. It was so fucking tiny because they're unfortunately still using the town blueprints of the old games where the towns were small, but it was fine for those games because you couldn't really see the entire town. It was 2D. But for 3D games, you really cannot get away with the small towns anymore. And they fixed it a bit more in Scarlet and Violet, where the towns are a lot bigger. I remember some of them being actually a lot bigger. And so if they can nail this game where they have one huge city, I can't wait to see what the future Pokemon games could be, because I could see them doing that maybe if they finally get to the point where they're able to do a Pokemon game where they put time into it, like say a mainline Pokemon game, they take 4 years to make it. It'd be cool if they make a mainline Pokemon game which is straight up just 4 well-built cities and say like 4 gyms, and like that's the game. That'd be dope. So like we'll see how they go with this. I'm assuming this is like a 100% experiment on their side, but Pokemon Legends Z-A, I think I will be probably picking it up and seeing how it is, because I didn't get into Arceus, but this one looks interesting enough where obviously we'll have to see more of what the game is, but I'm keeping this at the back of my head. I'm probably gonna be picking this up, so let's see how this game does.